Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hello.
Today we're diving deep into a really interesting collection of advanced C1 level English vocabulary, specifically words starting with the letter P. Think of this as really boosting your language toolkit, adding that extra layer of precision, you know?
Absolutely. It's about getting those nuances, making your communication more sophisticated.
Our goal is to unpack these terms, understand those subtle differences, and see how they actually work in context.
So you can confidently use them in your own speaking and writing. We've got quite a list today.
We do. Each word has its own, shades of meaning.
It's a chance to see how flexible English can be at this level, not just knowing more words, but really grasping how they function.
Okay, let's start with our first one. Pad. This one's interesting. It has a couple of main uses.
Right. It can be a noun or a verb.
As a noun, maybe like something soft. Or a notebook.
That's it. You might think of an athlete using knee pads.
Yeah, for protection.
Or maybe someone jotting notes on a small pad, like a notepad. Usually something practical, maybe comfortable.
And what about as a verb?
Well, a pad can mean adding soft material, padding a chair to make it comfier.
Okay.
But it can also mean moving quietly. Think of a cat padding across the floor.
Ah, stealthy-like.
Yeah, a quiet, gentle movement. So it provides comfort or utility. But the verb also suggests this sort of soft action.
Interesting. Okay, next word. Parameter. This sounds a bit technical.
It often is. You'll hear it a lot in technical, scientific, or professional settings. A parameter is basically a limit or a boundary.
So it defines the scope of something.
You got it. It sets the conditions. Like in software, parameters might control how a function behaves.
Can you give another example?
Sure. For a project, maybe the parameters are the budget and the deadline.
Right, the framework.
Or in an experiment, it could be the temperature or pressure that you need to control. It sets the rules, essentially.
Got it. All right, next up is parental. Seems pretty clear.
Yes, parental is an adjective. It links directly to parents, their role, their responsibilities.
Like in phrases, parental guidance.
Or parental consent.
Parental leave, too.
Spot on. Time off work for a new child. And parental supervision, keeping an eye on kids' activities.
Makes sense. Okay, parliament. I notice this one's often capitalized.
It is. Parliament is a legislative body, the place where laws are made in many countries. It's key to democratic government.
And the capital letter means a specific one, like the UK Parliament.
Usually, yes. Like the Canadian Parliament or whichever specific national body we're talking about.
So you might hear about Parliament voting on a new law.
Right. Or someone being elected to Parliament. Debates in Parliament shape policy.
And the leader might address Parliament.
Indeed. To talk about major reforms or national issues.
Okay. Let's look at partial and partially. Related, but different jobs.
They share that root, yeah.
Yeah.
But partial is an adjective. It means incomplete or maybe biased.
And partial.
That's the adverb. It means to some extent, or not completely.
So a partial view wouldn't show the whole picture.
Correct. It leaves
Right.
things out. And if a judge is partial, they're biased, favoring one side unfairly.
What about a partial solution?
Means it only solves part of the problem. More work needed.
And partially, how would you use that?
Well, a room could be partially lit, not fully bright.
Okay.
Or someone might be partially responsible for something going wrong, meaning they weren't the only cause.
Got it. Next is passing, another one with a couple of meanings.
Yeah, passing the adjective means brief, temporary, like a passing interest in something.
So not a deep, long-lasting interest.
Right, it fades.
Yeah.
But then there's passing the noun. It can mean moving past, like a passing car.
Or a quick look, a passing glance.
Yes. But importantly, it can also refer to death. The passing of someone is a common, gentler way to say they died.
Ah, more respectful, especially in sensitive situations.
Exactly. Context is really key there. Fleeting or final.
Okay, passive is next. This often feels a bit negative, doesn't it?
It can, yeah. Passive means accepting things without actively responding or resisting. It could suggest a lack of engagement.
Like a passive attitude at work.
Right. If someone on a team is passive, they might not contribute ideas, which can slow things down.
And there's the grammatical passive voice, too.
There is, where the subject receives the action, like the ball was thrown.
Instead of he threw the ball.
Correct. And someone might remain passive even when criticized, just not engaging.
Okay, pastor is next. Clearly religious.
Yes, a pastor is specifically a minister or priest in a Christian church, leading a congregation.
So they deliver a sermon, maybe offer guidance.
That's typical. They often organize church events like charity drives, and you need specific training to become one.
Right. Let's move to patent. This is about inventions.
It is. A patent, the noun, is that legal right you get for an invention. It gives you exclusive rights to make, use, or sell it for a while.
And the verb to patent is getting that right.
You got it. You file for a patent to protect your idea.
So it stops competitors from just copying it.
Essentially, yes. Having patents can be really valuable for a company, though getting one can be a long and often expensive process. Protecting market share, attracting investment, that's the strategic side.
Makes sense. Okay, pathway suggests a route.
It does. Literally, it could be a pathway through a forest, a physical path.
But also figurative.
Right, like a pathway to success, meaning a way to achieve something. Or maybe a career pathway.
I've heard it in science too, like a biological pathway.
Yes, that refers to a series of chemical reactions or processes in the body. Figuratively, people often talk about education as a pathway out of poverty, a means to a better situation.
Okay, patrol is next. This makes me think of security.
Good connection. Patrol, the noun, is the act of monitoring an area. And to patrol, the verb, is keeping watch over that area.
Like police patrols.
Exactly. Or security crews patrolling a site. You might see increased police patrols if crime goes up.
Or even volunteers patrolling a park.
Sure, to keep it safe or clean. The patrol team reports back on anything unusual.
All right. Our next word is patron. Someone who supports something.
That's a good way to put it. A patron often provides financial support, like an art patron funding a gallery.
But it can also just be a customer, right?
Yes, like a regular, loyal patron at a cafe or restaurant. Businesses often thank their patrons.
And some places rely on them.
Definitely. Think of libraries or museums. Patron contributions can be vital for them.
Okay. Peak. That's like the highest point.
Yes, peak. The noun is the highest point, the peak of a mountain, for instance.
And the verb to peak
means reaching that highest point. It could be physical, like hiking to a peak, or metaphorical.
Like someone's career peaking?
Exactly. Or sales might peak during the holidays. It's that maximum point.
Got it. Peasant is next. This sounds historical.
It mostly is. Historically, a peasant was a poor farmer or farm worker, usually in pre-industrial times.
Like in medieval stories, peasants working the fields.
Right. They often had very little social mobility. While it can be a neutral historical term, you have to be careful.
Why is that?
Using peasant today to describe someone can sound derogatory, like you're calling them uncultured or low status.
Ah, okay. Good to know. Next, peculiar, meaning strange.
Strange or unusual, yes. Or sometimes just very specific to one person or thing. It implies something distinctive, maybe a bit odd.
Like a peculiar habit.
Or a dish might have a peculiar flavor you can't quite place.
Yeah.
Some behaviors might be peculiar to one species.
Or someone might speak with the peculiar accent.
Spot on. Something that stands out is different.
Okay. Pension. Important for later life.
Very. A pension is that regular payment someone gets after they retire, usually from a fund they paid into while working.
So people rely on their pension in retirement?
Often, yes. Companies might offer pension plans as a benefit, but sometimes pensions aren't enough, which leads to debates about pension reform.
Right. Okay. Persist and persistent. They sound similar.
They share that idea of continuing. Persist is the verb to keep going firmly, maybe stubbornly, despite difficulty.
Like persisting with your studies even when it's tough.
Exactly. Or a problem might persist if you don't deal with its root cause.
And persistent.
That's the adjective. Describes something that continues, that lasts, often in a determined way.
Like a persistent cough that won't go away.
Right. Or someone might be persistent in asking for something. You might face persistent challenges or hear persistent rumors.
Gotcha. Personnel, that's about staff, right?
It is. Personnel refers to the people employed in an organization. It's a collective noun, used more in formal or business contexts.
So training for company personnel, or talking about personnel costs.
Correct. You might hear, all personnel must attend the meeting. HR departments manage personnel records.
Okay. Petition. This is usually about asking for something, often a change.
Yes. A petition as a noun is that formal written request, often signed by lots of people, usually sent to an authority.
Like a petition to save a local park.
Good example. And to petition is the verb making that request. People might petition the government for action.
You see online petitions a lot now, too.
Very common. though sometimes authorities might reject a petition.
Right. Next, philosopher and philosophical. Thinking about big questions.
Exactly. A philosopher studies or writes about philosophy, questions about existence, knowledge, values.
Like Plato or Aristotle, the ancient philosophers.
And philosophical is the adjective. It can relate to philosophy itself or describe someone's calm, thoughtful attitude towards life.
So a philosopher might argue about happiness?
Right, and the discussion could take a philosophical turn, getting into deeper meanings. Or someone might adopt a philosophical outlook when facing problems.
Be calm and reflective about it?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Pioneer, someone who's first.
Yes, a pioneer is one of the first people to explore or develop something new. Think innovation, exploration.
Like a pioneer in space travel.
Good one. Or pioneering a new medical technique. The verb to pioneer means to lead the way.
The pioneers of the American West, for instance.
That's a classic example. Or a company might pioneer AI in a new field.
Pipeline is next. Literal pipes or figurative?
Both. Literally, yes, it's pipes for transporting oil, water, gas.
Like an oil pipeline.
Right. But figuratively, it's a process for delivering something. A company might talk about its product pipeline, new products in development.
Or a pipeline for hiring new people?
Exactly. It represents a flow, a structured process with stages.
Okay. Pirate. Robbing ships. Or something else now.
Historically, yes, ship robbers. But now, pirate very often means someone who illegally copies or shares copyrighted stuff, music, movies, software.
So pirating software is illegal copying.
Right, and to pirate is the verb for doing that.
Yeah.
Industries lose a lot of money to piracy.
And you could get into trouble for it.
You could. Legal trouble.
Right. Pit. A hole. Or something else.
Could be a literal hole in the ground, yes.
A pit.
Digging a pit. Or figuratively, it can mean a difficult or miserable situation like a pit of despair. And the verb to pit can mean setting two sides against each other, like pitting teams against each other.
Or pitting your wits against someone.
Yes. And it also means removing the stone from fruit, like pitting cherries or olives.
Multiple meanings there. Context is key.
Always.
Okay, plea and plead, making requests.
Earnest requests, yes. Plea is the noun. It can be a heartfelt request for help, or in court, it's the formal statement of guilty or not guilty.
Like entering a plea of not guilty.
Right. Or a charity, making a plea for donations. Plead is the verb.
So you plead with someone.
Yes, making an emotional appeal. Or a lawyer might plead their client's case in court. You can plead guilty or plead for more time.
Okay. Pledge, a serious promise.
Yes. Pledge as a noun is a solemn promise or commitment, and to pledge is the verb making that promise.
Politicians make election pledges.
They do. Or people might pledge allegiance. Fundraisers collect pledges of money.
Or you might pledge to support a friend.
Exactly. It implies commitment.
Next is plug, electrical plugs.
That's one meaning, yes, the thing you put in the socket.
Yep.
Or a stopper, like a plug for a sink.
And the verb.
To plug can mean to block something up, like plugging a leak. But it also means to promote something enthusiastically.
Like plugging your new book on a show.
You got it. Companies plug their products in ads all the time.
Right. Plunge sounds like a sudden drop.
It is. Plunge.
Right.
The verb means to dive or fall suddenly, steeply. The noun is that sudden drop.
Like plunging into cold water?
Ooh, yes. Or the stock market might plunge. That's a sudden, sharp fall.
You could have a plunge in morale, too.
Absolutely. And someone might take the plunge into starting their own business, a sudden, decisive, maybe risky move.
Okay. Pole. A long stick. Or extremes.
Both. Again, it could be a long, slender thing like a flagpole or a tent pole.
Right.
But it can also mean one of two opposite points or extremes, like opinions being at opposite poles.
North and south poles, too.
Indeed. Or the pole star, used for navigation. So physical object or abstract extreme.
Next, poll, like opinion polls.
Usually, yes. A poll is a survey of opinions, often used in politics to see what the public thinks.
And to poll is to conduct that survey.
Correct. You poll voters before an election. Poll results show shifts in opinion.
Researchers might poll students on campus issues.
Good example. It's about gathering opinions systematically.
Pond. That's just a small lake, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A small body of still water, smaller than a lake, often quite peaceful.
Ducks on a pond, fish in a garden pond.
Kids skipping stones across a pond they can freeze over in winter. Simple, but a useful word.
Okay. Pop. This word does a lot.
It really does. The verb pup Making a short, sharp sound like a balloon popping.
Or popping into a shop quickly.
Yes, appearing suddenly. The noun can be that sound like, I heard a pop, or it refers to pop culture, pop music.
Right, popular trends.
Exactly. It covers sound, suddenness, and popularity.
Versatile. Next, portfolio. A collection.
Yes, a collection of work or investments or assets. Depends on the context.
An artist's portfolio shows their work.
Right. An investor manages their investment portfolio. You might build a portfolio of skills.
Or a designer needs a portfolio for clients.
Essential for showcasing their work.
Portray is next. Means to depict.
Yes. To depict or describe someone or something in a particular way, often in art, writing, or film.
A movie might portray a historical figure.
Or an actor portrays a character. You might try to portray confidence. A book portrays life in a certain era.
Media portrayals can sometimes be stereotypes, though.
That's a very important point, yes. How things are portrayed matters.
Okay. Postpone. Putting something off.
Yes, simply delaying or rescheduling something to a later time.
Like postponing a meeting.
Or postponing a trip. Maybe a wedding gets postponed. It's usually better not to postpone important things if you can help it.
Like studying.
Good one. Or a product launch might be postponed for final checks.
Post-war, after a war.
Exactly. The adjective describing the period after a war, usually a major one.
The post-war era, post-war reconstruction.
Right. Post-war literature often deals with the aftermath. You hear stories of post-war life.
Okay. Practitioner. Someone who practices a profession.
Yes, someone actively engaged in a profession, especially medicine or law. It emphasizes doing the job, the practical side.
A medical practitioner, a legal practitioner.
A conference might bring together practitioners in a field, even a yoga practitioner if they teach actively.
Preach. Delivering a sermon.
That's the main meaning, yes, in a religious context.
But people use it more broadly, too.
They do. To advocate strongly for something, like preaching the benefits of exercise.
Or preaching about conservation.
Right. But sometimes it implies being lectured like, don't preach to me.
Okay. Precedent. Important in law.
Very. A precedent is an earlier event or action used as a guide for similar situations later. Especially in law, past court decisions set precedents.
So no precedent means it hasn't happened before in a way that gives guidance.
Correct. Or an action might set a precedent for the future. Lawyers rely heavily on citing precedents. It promotes consistency.
Okay. Precision. Exactness.
Yes, the quality of being exact, accurate, careful, highly valued where details matter.
Like engineering requires precision. Or surgery.
Absolutely critical. A machine might operate with great precision. A speech delivered with precision.
Got it. Predator. An animal that hunts.
That's the biological meaning, yes. Like a lion hunting its prey.
But it's used for people too, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yes. To describe someone who exploits or harms vulnerable people, like financial predators targeting the elderly.
Or online predators.
Right. Laws try to protect people from those kinds of predators.
Okay. Predecessor. The person before you in a job.
Exactly. Or the thing that came before. You compare a new CEO to their predecessor.
Or a new phone model to its predecessor.
Right. You might study your predecessor's work. Or an architect's predecessor designed the original building.
Predominantly means mainly.
Yes, mainly, mostly, for the most part. It tells you the largest part or main characteristic.
An audience predominantly female?
Or a region predominantly rural. Someone's research might focus predominantly on one topic. A festival attracting a predominantly local crowd.
Okay. Pregnancy. The state of being pregnant.
Yes, carrying a developing fetus. We talk about a healthy pregnancy, the changes it brings.
Support during pregnancy. Preparing for pregnancy.
All related aspects, yes. A specific biological state.
Prejudice. Bias.
Yes, a preconceived opinion, usually negative, not based on reason or experience. Unfair judgment. It often comes from assumptions about groups.
Prejudice based on race, religion, gender.
Common examples, sadly. It can show up in comments or actions. Education aims to reduce it. Laws try to prevent it in hiring. Overcoming it is a challenge.
Preliminary, meaning initial.
Yes, initial, preparatory, coming before the main part.
Preliminary results of a study.
Or a preliminary meeting to set things up. An artist's preliminary sketch, preliminary test before a launch.
Okay. Premier, first in importance. Or a leader.
Both. As an adjective, it means top-ranked best, like a premier hotel.
Or a Premier League in sports.
Right. As a noun, it can mean the prime minister or head of government in some places, like the premier of a Canadian province.
And you can attend a film premiere.
Yes, the first public showing.
Premise. The basis of an argument. Or a building.
Can be either. The premise of an argument is the statement you assume is true to start with.
An argument based on a faulty premise won't hold up.
Correct. But premises, usually plural, refers to a building and its land, like the company moved to new premises.
The plural form for the building.
Often, yes. The premise of a story is its basic idea.
Premium. High quality. Or an extra payment.
Again, both. You pay an insurance premium each month, that's a payment.
Okay.
But premium as an adjective means high quality, often costing more. Premium coffee, premium gasoline.
Premium features on an app.
Exactly. Better quality or extra service, usually for a higher price or fee.
Prescribe. Like a doctor prescribing medicine.
That's the most common use, yes.
Yeah.
Authorizing a medical treatment.
But it can be used more generally.
It can. A consultant might prescribe a strategy.
Yeah.
Laws can prescribe rules or guidelines. It means to recommend or lay down authoritatively.
And prescription is the noun.
Right. The doctor's written order for a medicine that you take to the pharmacy.
You need a prescription for some drugs.
Correct. But you might also hear it figuratively, like a prescription for success, meaning a recommended way to achieve it.
Okay. Presently. Does it mean now or soon?
Confusingly, it can mean both. Context is crucial. I'm presently working on it means right now.
But she will be with you presently means soon.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
In a little while. You have to figure it out from the situation.
Tricky one. Preservation. Protecting something.
Yes. Keeping something safe from harm, decay, or loss.
Like historical preservation.
Real buildings.
Right. Or preservation of wildlife habitats. Food preservation techniques like canning or drying. Preserving artifacts in a museum.
Preside. To be in charge of a meeting.
Yes, to be the chairperson, the authority figure at a meeting, ceremony, or legal case.
The judge presides over the trial, or the committee chair presides over the meeting. The mayor might preside over a civic event. It implies leadership of that event.
Presidency, the job of being president.
Yes, the role, the term of office, the functions of a president of a country, company, club.
You might talk about a president's legacy during their presidency.
Or someone campaigning for the presidency. It's the office itself.
Prestigious, high status.
Yeah, having high status, respect, admiration. Usually because of excellence or reputation.
A prestigious university, a prestigious award.
Working for a prestigious company, attending a prestigious event, it implies recognized quality or importance.
Presumably, based on probability.
Yes, it means it's reasonable to assume, probably. You use it when something is likely true, but you don't know for certain.
He's late, presumably stuck in traffic.
Good example. The package hasn't arrived, presumably it's delayed. She has the most experience, so presumably she's the best candidate.
And presume is the verb.
Right. To suppose something is true without proof. I presume you're here for the meeting.
Can it also mean being too bold?
It can. He presumed to give advice without being asked. That implies acting inappropriately forward. Or you might presume silence needs agreement, which isn't always safe.
Okay, prevail means to win or be common.
Both meanings. To prevail can mean to win, to triumph, especially after a struggle.
Yeah.
Justice will prevail.
Or the home team prevailed in the match.
Right. But it can also mean to be widespread or common. Traditional values still prevail in that region. Or we hope common sense will prevail.
And prevalence is how widespread something is.
Exactly. The noun form. The prevalence of a disease, the prevalence of smartphone use, how common something is.
The prevalence of misinformation online.
A big issue, yes. That's how you'd use it.
Prevention, stopping something bad.
Yes, the act of stopping something from happening.
Prevention is better than cure.
Classic saying. Fire prevention, crime prevention, disease prevention, all about stopping things before they start.
Okay, prey, animal hunted, or a victim.
Again, both. An animal hunted by another is its prey. A hawk and its prey.
But like predator, it's used for people too.
Yes. Scammers preying on vulnerable people. Someone who is easily exploited can be seen as prey. The verb is to prey on.
So deer are prey for wolves?
Right. And someone might feel like prey if they're being targeted or watched intensely.
Privatization, selling state-owned things to private companies.
That's the core idea, yes. Transferring ownership from the public sector, government, to the private sector.
Like privatizing railways or energy companies.
Common examples. It's often debated. Efficiency versus public access are the usual arguments.
Right. Privilege. A special advantage.
Yes, a special right or advantage that not everyone has. Often discussed regarding social inequality.
Access to good education can be a privilege.
People talk about recognizing their privilege. Some laws grant specific privileges, like doctor-patient confidentiality, using privilege to help others.
Probe, to investigate.
Yes, to investigate or examine thoroughly. The noun probe can be the investigation itself, or a tool used for exploring.
Like a space probe exploring Mars.
Good one. Or, authorities might probe into misconduct. A doctor might use a physical probe. It implies digging deeper.
Problematic. Causing problems.
Simply put, yes. Something that presents a problem or is difficult, troublesome, questionable.
A problematic policy decision.
Or someone's behavior becomes problematic. Data can be problematic if it's flawed. Implementation of a plan might prove problematic.
Proceeding. An action or event. Or legal.
It can be a formal action or event, often one in a series. But yes, proceedings, usually plural, very often refers to legal actions.
Legal proceedings can take a long time.
They can. Or you might read the proceedings of a conference, the official record. The minutes record the proceedings of a meeting.
And proceeds. That's money, right?
Yes, proceeds, always plural in this sense, is the money you get from selling something or holding an event.
Proceeds from a bake sale go to charity.
Or proceeds from ticket sales.
Yeah.
An author gets proceeds, royalties, from book sales. It's the income generated.
Processing. Handling things in steps.
Yes, dealing with or transforming something through a series of steps or operations. Used everywhere.
Data processing, application processing.
Food processing, information processing in the brain. Improving the processing of materials in a factory. It's systematic handling.
And a processor does the processing.
Right. A machine like a computer's CPU, central processing unit, or a food processor. Or a person whose job it is, like a claims processor.
A faster processor makes your computer faster.
Generally, yes.
Proclaim. To announce officially.
Yes, announce or declare publicly, often formally or with emphasis.
The king proclaimed a holiday.
Or someone might proclaim their innocence. A historic document proclaims basic rights. You can proclaim your love. It's a strong public statement.
Productive and productivity. About getting results.
Yes. Productive adjective means achieving good results efficiently. A productive meeting, productive worker.
And productivity, noun, is the rate of efficiency.
That's it. How much is produced relative to the input? Companies want to boost productivity. Productivity can increase or decrease.
Okay, profitable, making money.
Yes, yielding a financial profit or gain. Key for businesses.
A profitable company, a profitable investment.
A profitable side hustle. If it makes more money than it costs, it's profitable.
Profound. Deep or intense.
Very. Great, intense, deep, either emotionally or intellectually.
A profound impact, a profound sense of loss.
A profound understanding of a subject. A profound discovery that changes things. It suggests significance.
Projection, an estimate? Or projecting an image?
Both. A financial projection estimates future results.
That's a forecast.
Like sales projections.
Right, but it's also projecting an image onto a screen. And in psychology, projection is attributing your own feelings to others.
Ah, okay. Prominent, important, or noticeable.
Yes, standing out, important, well-known.
A prominent figure in the community, a prominent building on the skyline.
Playing a prominent role, an artist's work being prominent in galleries, easily seen or widely recognized.
Pronounced, very noticeable.
Exactly. Very noticeable, distinct, strong.
A pronounced accent, a pronounced limp. A pronounced difference between two things, a pronounced effect. It really stands out.
Propaganda, biased information.
Yes, information, often biased or misleading, used to promote a political cause or viewpoint, aims to influence opinion.
Wartime propaganda, political propaganda.
It can be spread through various media. Analyzing propaganda helps you see the manipulation techniques.
Proposition, a suggestion or offer.
Yes, a plan or scheme proposed, a business proposition.
Or a proposition in logic. A statement that's true or false.
That too. Or someone might make a proposition to change something. You can accept or reject a proposition.
Okay, legal terms next. Prosecute, prosecution, prosecutor.
Right. Prosecute, verb, is to bring legal action against someone for a crime.
The state prosecutes criminals.
Yes. Prosecution, noun, is the act of prosecuting or the legal team doing the prosecuting, working against the defendant.
The prosecution presents its case.
And the prosecutor is the lawyer leading that team for the state.
Got it. Perspective means potential or future.
Yes. Likely to happen or become.
Prospective students applying to college. Prospective buyers looking at a house.
Prospective benefits of a plan. A prospective employee. Looking towards the future.
Prosperity, wealth, and success.
Yes, the state of being successful, thriving, especially financially. Abundance.
A time of economic prosperity, wishing someone prosperity.
Hoping for national prosperity, often linked to wealth and well-being.
Protective, intended to protect.
Exactly. Designed to keep safe from harm.
Protective clothing, protective goggles.
Protective instincts of a parent. Protective measures for the environment. A protective case for your phone.
Protocol, rules or procedures?
Yes, the official system of rules governing affairs of state or diplomatic occasions, or, more broadly, agreed procedures in science, computing, medicine.
Diplomatic protocol, hospital safety protocols.
Internet protocols, like HTTP. Following the correct protocol is often important.
Province and provincial, a region, or an attitude.
Province is a main administrative division of some countries, like in Canada.
Quebec is a province.
Right. It can also mean someone's area of expertise. That's not my province. Provincial adjective relates to a province.
Provincial government.
Yes. But it can also mean narrow-minded, unsophisticated, having a limited outlook, like a provincial attitude.
Ah, two different vibes there.
Definitely.
Provision, supplying something, or a condition.
Both. The act of providing or supplying something needed the provision of food and water.
Okay.
Or a condition or requirement in a legal document, a provision in a contract. Making provision for the future means preparing for it.
Provoke, stirring up a reaction.
Yes, stimulating or inciting a reaction, often a strong or negative one like anger, but sometimes thought or debate.
His comments provoked outrage. The image was designed to provoke thought.
Don't provoke the dog. Trying not to provoke an argument.
Psychiatric, relating to mental illness.
Yes, pertaining to mental disorders and their treatment.
A psychiatric evaluation, psychiatric medication.
Psychiatric hospital or ward.
Psychiatric care.
Okay. Pulse, heartbeat, or energy. Primarily the rhythmic beat of the heart felt in the arteries. Checking someone's pulse.
But also figurative.
Yes, the pulse of a city, its vibrancy, energy, the pulse of the economy. The verb to pulse means to throb rhythmically. Music, pulsing.
Pump, a device for moving liquid.
Yes, like a water pump or a bicycle pump.
And the verb.
To operate a pump. Or to move something forcefully, pumping your fist in the air. Pumping iron. Lifting weights.
Or pumping someone for information.
Yes, questioning them persistently. Pumping money into a project.
Okay, last one. Punch, hitting, or a drink.
Both. A blow with the fist. To throw a punch.
Or the verb, to punch someone or something. Punching a button.
Right. But also, fruit punch the drink, often served at parties.
And figuratively.
A speech or a piece of writing can pack a punch, meaning it has a strong impact.
Wow, that was a lot of P words.
It certainly was a real journey through some quite specific and useful vocabulary.
We've covered a huge range from pad right through to punch. You've seen the definitions, sure, but also how they work in different situations.
And those subtle differences, those nuances, are really what C1 level is all about. Using the right word.
Our aim was really to clarify these advanced terms so you feel more confident weaving them into your own English.
Remember, learning vocabulary is a continuous process. The key now is to actually use these words.
Try incorporating them into your speaking and writing. That's what really solidifies your understanding and boosts your proficiency.
It definitely does. Active use makes all the difference.
Well, that's all we have time for in this deep dive. We hope you found it useful.
Keep practicing.
And please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. See you next time on the Learn English Lab.